Welcome to Live with Anton Gunn. I'm excited about being with everybody today. I got a lot going on right now. I got a little technical issue that I'm gonna get it worked out so I can get my people into this session. So give me 1 second and I will get it working the way that it needs to work and we can go from there. All right. So I want to say thank you to everybody for joining me every Wednesday at 9 a.m. This is a great time for us to share and to learn and to grow. And I want you to know that I have some dynamic content for you today that's really focused on your blind spots. Now, when I say blind spots, I want you to understand that every organization has some blind spots. And when I say blind spots, they got big blind spots as it relates to mistreatment in the workplace, how people get mistreated in the workplace. And because they get mistreated at work, these employees do three things. The first thing they do is that they mentally, emotionally check out. They disengage from work. And you can look at my research report. You can look at Gallup research report. You can look at SHRM's research reports. They will tell you when people check out and disengage from work, that actually costs companies lots of money. The problem is most companies don't believe that it costs them money. See, they're quick to track a profit and loss statement. They're quick to track whether they got income. They're quick to check whether they got, capital costs or whether they got to buy new equipment. But they never think about the human capital costs. Like, what does it cost you if someone refuses to work an extra minute longer at work? They just literally say, you know what? I'm doing the bare minimum today. Or they never think about the cost of what happens is if people say, you know what, I know I'm supposed to get this done, but right now I'm going to work on my resume at work. So I'm going to spend work time at work, punching up my resume, improving my resume because I want to look for another job. Now, that's what I mean is the other thing that they do is they don't just disengage. They literally have the intention of quitting. So they start looking for another job. They find another opportunity and they roll out. They leave you high and dry. And if you don't believe that this is a cost to your organization, I want you to understand the following, that if you have every employee that quits a job, so let's just say, a regular random, run-of-the-mill frontline employee quits. And let's just say their salary is $50,000. If that employee that makes $50,000 quits, it's going to cost you $75,000 to replace that person. Because one, when they quit, there's going to be lost productivity that's going to cost you some money. Secondly, you got to take time away from doing your job to do interviews, to hire people, to review resumes, to go through that process. So that's going to cost money. And then if you hire somebody new, you might have to pay them a bonus or a relocation bonus, or you might have to spend money sending them to training to get them up to speed so they can do the job. So you're going to lose money. You're going to lose more money by losing an employee than keeping that employee. Now, the third cost is the cost of what I call counterproductive workplace behaviors. I was getting ready to say disengagement, but I'm talking about counterproductive workplace behaviors. So these are people who have experienced so much injustice at work that they don't just plan to quit or they don't just check out. They literally start to sabotage your workplace. They do things like pick arguments, cause fights, that they just act out. We all have seen kids act out when they don't get their way and how disruptive that can be. Well, I want you to know that adults act out. Now, they don't fall out on the floor and cry, but they do act out. And these are counterproductive behaviors that happen in the workplace. So all of these things are bad and they're happening right in your organization and you don't know about them, or you might know about them and you may not understand why. So today's live session is really focused on your big blind spots. What are the things that are causing employees to not report when they experience injustice? What's causing your employees to just, they make a totally different decision to check out, to look for another job, or to act up at work because you have some massive blind spots and why they won't even tell you what's going wrong at work. They won't tell you what's going wrong at work. So I'm going to give you the 6 blind spots of why employees don't report injustice at work. And if any of these blind spots you know about or resonate with you, I want you to type it in the comments. I want to see which of these 6 resonate with you. Share it with me. Let me know. And if all 6 resonate with you, then I really need you to pay attention and listen to the end of this live. I'm only going to be on for another 15 minutes, so this won't be long at all. But I really want you to pay attention. Matter of fact, if you got more than 2 of these blind spots or feel like they are the organizational character in your company, your organization, I want you to pay attention to the end. I got something for you that I think will help you, but you're going to have to take a few minutes. It'll take 5 minutes to do, but I think it'll be very valuable. So stick it out to the end. So let me jump in real quick. Organization blind spot number 1 of why employees do not report when they experience mistreatment is a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust in your organization. And where does this lack of trust come from? This lack of trust is any belief that anybody is going to listen to them when they report or care about when they report, that they're going to even be interested in trying to address, that you're interested in trying to address what they see, okay? There's a massive lack of trust. That's blind spot number 1. Now, blind spot number 2 of why people don't report injustice is because they fear of retaliation. That literally people feel like, well, if I say something, something bad is going to happen to me. Or remember Bob who spoke up last year? Well, he don't work here no more. They ran him out because he talked about how bad the manager was. So I'm telling you right now, there is a fear of retaliation. I literally was just talking to a leader yesterday who was telling me about a group of direct reports to a leader who are afraid of this leader. They just don't want the retaliation. So they rather just suck it up, deal with the unfairness, deal with the injustice, deal with the problems, rather than report it, because they know the boss is going to retaliate. I'll never forget, I had a client several years ago that there was a leader who was not a good leader. I won't tell you her name, but I will never forget her name. But she was so bad that her employees gave her an accurate evaluation. So when they did their performance review of their leader, they talked about how bad she was as a leader. Well, her scores came back so bad that she was deemed a tier 3 leader. So tier 1 is great. Tier 2 needs some work. Tier 3 is bad. In this organization, if you were a tier 3 leader, you were going to be removed from your position if you had been tier 3 2 years in a row. And this leader was tier 3 2 years in a row. So when literally she got a second tier 3, she called a meeting of her entire team, all of them, and then memorialized it in an email like a dummy. This is what she said to all of them when she called them all together. Because y'all gave me a bad evaluation, I'm getting ready to make your lives miserable. I'm going to write every last one of you up for something before the end of this year. And I'm going to get rid of all of y'all. Now, can you imagine that? A leader saying that to a group of employees because the employees were honest on a performance appraisal? That is the fear of retaliation of why people don't report mistreatment, because they don't want that kind of retaliation. People need their jobs. They don't want to lose their jobs because of retaliation. So that's the second blind spot you have. Now, here's the third blind spot as a reason why people don't report is they literally don't know where to go to report. They don't know who to report to. They don't know if it's anonymous. There's no clear reporting system for your organization. That, like right now, if you saw something that went wrong at work, somebody being bullied or mistreated, do you know where to go with that? Have you told your team where to go with that information? So without clarity of how they can safely report, employees won't report because there's no safety for them to report. So again, that's blind spot number 3. I'm going to run through those top 3 real quick. Number 1, lack of trust. Number 2, fear of retaliation. And number 3, uncertainty of reporting. Those are the first 3 reasons. Now, you might think that I'm making this up and that I'm just saying to Anton, that's not the reasons why people don't report. People don't report because they're just lazy and they're selfish. Well, I will tell you the following, that the reason why people don't report is because they know your company ain't going to do nothing about it, even if they do report it. They don't. My data in the State of Workplace Injustice Research Report that we put out just a couple weeks ago. You can get it at workplaceinjusticereport.com. If you want to see it, I'll show it to you in great detail. But here's what we found in our report, is that when we asked survey respondents, did you report injustice? 92% of them say that they reported injustice in their workplace. But then we subsequently asked them, what did the company do about it? You know what they told us? That only 17% of companies did something about the injustice when employees reported it. That means 83% of companies, organizations, businesses in the United States of America are doing absolutely nothing when their employees report injustice. Nothing. That's crazy, as my daughter would say. You got 83% of companies who are hearing about stuff going wrong. People are getting over their fear of retaliation. They have a way to report. They report it, and your company does nothing about it. Like no response, no help, no action taken at all. Zero, zilch, nada. 83% took no action, which leads to the second three blind spots that you have as an organization. And the first one is your organization is indifferent to the treatment that people are experiencing at work. Y'all don't care. When I say y'all don't care, I'm not talking about you as a leader don't care. The company doesn't care. Like there are literally some companies who will say, you know what, we got a 50% turnover rate and it's okay. That they're accepting the fact that people are going to quit. They know they have a bad environment. They know they don't train people well. They know they don't pay them well. They know they don't treat them with dignity and respect. They know all of these things, and they just accepted a 50% turnover rate. What kind of craziness is that to just say, you know what? I know that there's no way I'm going to solve this problem, so I'm going to just keep hiring people and let them go in and out of door, a revolving door. The organization is indifferent to injustice and unfairness that happens, and they accept the cost of that. A 50% turnover rate, half of your people leaving a year, so that in 2 or 3 years, you've cycled through every frontline person on your team or every mid-level person on your team. That's bizarre, bad bizarre. So that's the fourth blind spot, is that your organization is indifferent. You're speaking indifference to your employees and you don't even know it. Here's the second one, or when I say second, really the fifth one, and that is your passivity. That your organization is passive about complaints. That they accept them, they take them in, they take no action, but you're passive about taking seriously what people say. Like sometimes some organization will say, you know what? Let me give you a real example. I know an organization that had an older employee who had been there a long time, like since the 70s. And he would say very crass things that you couldn't say in the modern workforce that you could say in the 1970s. He had been through training and remediation and everything, but this person was still saying foul stuff out loud about women and about people of color. And you know what people used to say about this man? Oh, he's just old. You know, he's kind of like that crazy uncle that you have. You know, sometimes he just say stuff, you got to let him be. Like they were just excusing his behavior as, you know what, he's old. He's too old to change his ways. When I'm like, if he's old enough to continue to get a paycheck, he is old enough to change his ways. And nobody should have to put up with that kind of behavior. But the organization was passive to his bad behavior. So when people are experiencing injustice, that's why they won't report, is because you're passive. And here's the sixth reason of why people don't report injustice. And that's because it involves their supervisor or someone that they're close to personally. That if their supervisor is the person who are committing acts of mistreatment and unfairness and injustice every day, they are afraid to go above that person. They're afraid of what might happen to them, because it's easy to figure out if someone directly reported to you said those bad things. That's the way it is in this organization I just heard about yesterday, is that they report to their supervisor, and they know that it's a small group of them. And so if any one of them report what's going on, the supervisor is going to be able to figure out who it is and then retaliate against them. And they don't want that drama. So there you have it. Those are the 6 reasons of why people choose not to report. Number 1, a lack of trust. Number 2, fear of retaliation. Number 3, uncertainty of the reporting channels of how they report. Number 4, your organization is indifferent to the injustice. Number 5, you're passive. You have a lot of passivity to injustice in your workplace. And number 6, the injustice involves the supervisors, the people who should be doing a good job, but they're not doing a good job. So if your organization has any one of these blind spots, I want you to let me know in the comments. Right now, I want you to let me know in the comments. Now, I'm going to quickly give you 5 things that you as an organization and you as a leader should be doing to address these big blind spots around reporting and why people don't report. And then I'm going to give you a way to assess your organizational culture right now, because I think it's important to know whether you got a great organization or whether you got a bad organization. So the first way that you can address these blind spots is to simply make it safe and secure for people to report. Come up with some clear channels that makes it easy and simple and safe for people to report. That could be as simple as having an ombudsman office. These are people who are not employees of your company, but contracting with a company to be an independent ombudsman that people can report anonymously to this third party, and they know that it's going to be investigated and adjudicated in the organization. Number 2, create an anonymous tip line that people can call in what they see. You need to create some safe channel for people to report. Otherwise, they won't report. But if you want to close these blind spots, you got to start with that. The second thing you have to do as an organization is be proactive. You got to take proactive action. So what does proactive action happen when it comes to the context of injustice? Proactive means having a no tolerance policy and stating it out loud. That you literally have to say, we will not tolerate bad behavior in this workplace. We're going to be an inclusive institution and allow places to report and treat people with dignity and respect. Which is the second thing you need to do, is to have a proactive diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and accessibility program. Be proactive talking about DEIBA. Talk about how you want to be inclusive and that we want people to share and we want people to speak up. We want people to, raise their voices when they see something wrong. Be like TSA. You all have been to the airport and you've seen the TSA sign that says, if you see something, say something. Well, you need to become a TSA type organization and tell your employees, if they see something, to say something. In addition to that, you need to move beyond just talking about it. You need to do the third thing to address these blind spots, and that is invest in training. So when I say invest in training, that is training around bystander behavior, how to get people to be active when they see injustice. It also means you need to train your leaders better. You need to train your leaders. They need to come to the Anton Gunn boot camp. I don't really have a boot camp, but I do have lots of training. I do trainings. And if you would love for me to come and speak to your leaders at a leadership meeting, an annual training, annual conference, internal leadership program, all employees meeting, it doesn't matter what it is. I've been on many stages and held many mics, take airplane flights after you type. That's a Run DMC line if y'all didn't get it. But anyway, my point is invest in me or someone else to do leadership training around the concepts of injustice, what they should do in terms of reporting, how they should support employees when they experience injustice. Because that's what people want, is they really want support. They want support. They want support from you as a leader. They want support from you as the organization. Which brings me to the fourth thing that you need to do is you need to take some proactive measures around this. So I already kind of said you need to have a no tolerance policy, but maybe what you need to do is to host a town hall and to talk about the experiences of employees. So take your last employee engagement survey data, and if anybody talks about anything that sounds unfair, unjust, harassment, bullying, abuse, ostracism, people feeling like they're in silos, you need to take a proactive measure and host some town halls to talk about this. Make it a part of your staff meeting agenda. Have regular conversation to show people that you're being proactive to address what's going on with incidents of injustice. And that's after you've given people a way to report. You've been proactive as a leader yourself and talking about DEIB, your organization's talking about it. You invested in training. You got to show results. People want to see you move differently as an organization. They don't want to hear about you being different. They want to see you move differently as an organization. Now, the other thing is the last thing, and this is the one that's probably big too, is you want to analyze and report what your numbers are. Like how many incidences of supervisor mistreatment have we calculated? And is that number going up or is that number going down? The number needs to be going down. And that's your job as a leader. That's your job as a leadership organization, is to drive the number down. But you can't fix what's wrong until you know what's wrong. So if you're not collecting data, you're not going to know what's wrong. You're not going to know whether you're doing good or bad. So you need to collect and analyze data around mistreatment, around turnover rates, why people are quitting, what reasons are you doing exit interviews to know why people, these are all of the things you need to measure and you need to report. Now, as I close, speaking of measurement, I want to give you a way to measure whether your organization is full of injustice or not. Are people being mistreated in your workplace? I want to give you a quick 10-question assessment for you to assess your culture. So if you go to workplacecultureassessment.com, I put a link either in the description of this video or I will put it in the chat. When I say chat, in the comments, so you can see it. Workplacecultureassessment.com. It is a short 10-question assessment that once you complete it, it will give you an organizational score. It will let you know whether your organization is world-class or whether you got a withered, worrisome culture or a wretched culture. And if you got a wretched culture, you might have bigger problems than you know, and you really need to reach out to me. So again, go to workplacecultureassessment.com, workplacecultureassessment.com. Take the 10-question assessment and let me see what I can show you about how great your culture may be or how many challenges you might have. So I want to thank y'all for watching. See y'all same bat time, same bat channel next Wednesday as I share some more about the State of Workplace Injustice Report, but most importantly, what you as a leader in your organization can do about it if you want to build a world-class workplace that's free of injustice, where everybody feels valued, respected, empowered and included to do the best job possible. So I want to thank you for watching. Everybody have a fantastic day. If I can find a way to get us out of this session. And for some reason, my mouse is not working. So no worries. I'm going to stay here with you until I can get it going. But my keyboard is dead for some reason. But anyway, y'all keep grinding and keep rocking and rolling, and we will do great things. If there are any comments or questions, I'd love to answer some of those right now if you have any, because I want to make sure that I'm giving people good vibes and good feedback the way that they need it. Any comments or questions? None at all? Drop them in the chat if you can. That would make it easy for me. But if not, we'll keep rocking and rolling. Y'all be great. Take care.